And Category 4 Hurricane Helene making landfall right now at Perry, Florida. More on that storm and your local forecast in weather.
And tonight on WVUA 23 News at 10, a documentary on Gene Stallings premiered. What kind of impact he had on players, fans, and the community. And last-minute traveling fans looking to lodge for the weekend might be disappointed in availability. WVUA 23 News starts right now.
This is WVUA 23 News at 10.
And we're glad to be with you tonight. I'm Laura Vale in tonight for Jabari Pruitt. And tonight's top story, the latest on Hurricane Helene as southern states start to feel the effects. Hurricane Helene has strengthened to a Category 4 hurricane, one of the largest storms to come out of the Gulf of Mexico in the last century. Category 4 means Helene has maximum sustained winds as high as 130 miles per hour, with even higher gusts. Ivan Rodriguez is in Tallahassee, Florida right now in Helene's path.
Hurricane Helene is battering Florida with high winds and a devastating storm surge. Florida Highway Patrol said at least 2 bridges in Tampa had to be shut down. Experts say it will likely be the strongest hurricane to hit the U.S. in over a year.
Those impacts are going to be life-threatening in a staggering way.
Emergency declarations already approved for Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, and Alabama. President Joe Biden issuing an urgent warning to all those in Helene's path.
Everyone needs to take it seriously. Extremely seriously. The potential storm surge is well beyond the immediate path of the hurricane. Could be significant and deadly.
For much of Florida's Gulf Coast, mandatory evacuations have been in place since Wednesday, with state and local officials imploring residents to leave while they have the chance. Many veterans of previous hurricanes like Ian and Idalia are opting to stay put.
Some people have made decisions that they're going to hunker down, even though they were requested to leave.
Some Georgians a little farther inland making final preparations before Helene hits them.
We've been doing this for years. Been here 34 years, doing the same thing every year.
Just make sure we got everything prepared, because the last storm that came through was horrible.
And Chief Meteorologist Richard Scott is in with updates. Richard, how will this impact us?
Laura, for West Alabama, no problems at all. A little breezy tomorrow, but that's about it. Helene right now is in the process of making landfall, and the radar data kind of coming and going here in this area because the power outage issues already. And again, officially right now, the center of the eye of the hurricane is approaching the coastline very close to Perry, Florida, just to the south of St. Mark's. And again, when that center of the eye hits the coastline, it will officially make landfall most likely in the next 10 minutes from now. And again, the storm is tracking north-northeast very quickly. Now for West Alabama and Central Alabama, fortunately no major impacts at all. The impact's going to be over Georgia. This is a Category 4 storm. It's going to move up through central Georgia tonight and into tomorrow morning and then up into Tennessee. But again, we'll be on the west side of this. It's going to be breezy tomorrow, the chance for a few brief rain showers. More on your local forecast here in just a few minutes.
And Hurricane Helene strengthened to a catastrophic Category 4 storm this evening, as we've reported. The Hurricane Center says Helene's storm surge could potentially climb to 20 feet along some parts of the coast. Much of the southeast will be affected. 5 states are under emergency declarations: Florida, Georgia, North and South Carolina, and Virginia. FEMA workers are in Montgomery at Maxwell Air Force Base to provide aid to those in need. Officials expect around 450 trucks to drop off supplies on site.
Been doing this since Katrina, as we all know. It's a web of a lot of professionals working together. We have our own transportation department, and they do a great job of just organizing this.
Most of the supplies are intended for Florida and Georgia, which are projected to be among the most heavily impacted states. And a fuel availability tracker is active for drivers in Florida, Georgia, and Alabama who are in the path of Tropical Storm Helene. The Gas Buddy fuel tracker helps drivers find fuel if gas stations run out or shut down due to the storm. The free app can locate stations with no gas, no diesel, or no power. The tracker is also available online at tracker.gasbuddy.com. Drivers can report the status of stations to help other drivers plan ahead. And tonight, former University of Alabama head football coach Gene Stallings was honored in the premiere of Do Right, the Stallings Standard. The documentary highlights Stallings' impact at the University of Alabama and his help improving the RISE programs at UA. Stallings was in attendance at the premiere with some of his children and grandchildren. The documentary was produced by 2 UA professors, Chandra Clark and Michael Bruce. The film premiered at 7 p.m. at the Bama Theater in downtown Tuscaloosa.
I hope the youngsters that watch it, they'll go away and they'll say they're going to do the best they can with what they have. And if they do that, then the documentary is worthwhile.
A portion of the proceeds from the premiere will be donated to the RISE Center. And the biggest SEC game of the year is this Saturday, and fans from both sides are preparing for game day events. ESPN's College Game Day with Nick Saban will be set up on the quad that morning. Champions Lane will open at 11:30. Road closures around the campus will begin at 2:30. Stadium gates will open at 4. The Walk of Champions begins at 4:30, and kickoff is at 6:30. As the huge game this weekend nears with Alabama hosting Georgia, fans will be in search of tickets, but you need to be aware of the possible ticket scams. Many resellers post tickets on social media to offer to fans. However, there are risks that come with not using a legitimate broker or website. Carl Bates with the Better Business Bureau has a reminder to be cautious and tips on how to avoid losing your money and your tickets.
I mean, it's stop, call, and confirm. And then that's what we're telling people is stop, take a breath, call, check it out, and confirm that this is really something that you need. It needs your attention. Most of the time you're going to find it's not. It's a scammer trying to get you out of your comfort zone to make a quick decision and to give up information that you normally wouldn't give up.
Bates says these football scams are a risk until December when football season is over. And ESPN's Game Day will also be here for the show Saturday morning. Crews are already on campus, starting the massive setup process. The stage is being assembled on the quad amid the tailgating tents and in the shadow of Denny Chimes. Now retired Bama coach Nick Saban has joined the ESPN team this year, and this will be his first time on the set at Alabama this season. Fans who camp out and tailgate in RVs are ready for some football. Coach's Corner RV Park has had some of their RVs since the beginning of the week, rather. Some fans tried to beat the traffic and crowds and arrive early. But since this is one of the biggest games of the season, a lot more people are filling up the few remaining spots. Lot managers expect even more people to arrive tomorrow.
This week we're especially excited because Georgia's huge. It's going to be a big grudge match, you know. So my husband got here on Tuesday. Donna and I came in yesterday. We got to go see our granddaughter, niece play volleyball. We got grandson plays football tonight. So we just make a whole week of it. Tomorrow we got a huge barbecue planned. Our life revolves around sports and fellowship with our other fan friends.
Managers at Coach's Corner expect the lot to be full by this time tomorrow. And drivers around Tuscaloosa should expect a lot more traffic leading up to Saturday's game. AlDOT is working with the city of Tuscaloosa, the university, and law enforcement agencies to make traffic flow as smooth as possible. Even with former President Donald Trump's visit, traffic will still follow standard game day procedures. But AlDOT does suggest fans leave home early and allow extra time for the extra traffic. They suggest downloading the AlGo app to keep up with any delays, crashes, or closed roads.
You know, checking the AlGo traffic app is key. It lets you know if there are crashes in the area and if your route is impacted. So we really ask people to know before you go, download the AlGo traffic app. That way you can get to Tuscaloosa on time.
There are no interstate or road closures travelers will have to worry about for this weekend. And New York City Mayor Eric Adams is refusing to step down. What charges he faces in his indictment? And mortgage rates continue to drop. What this means for Americans and the housing market. We'll have more next. And Governor Kay Ivey's office confirmed the state's second nitrogen gas execution happened tonight. Death row inmate Alan Eugene Miller was executed at 6 p.m. by nitrogen hypoxia at Holman Prison in Atmore. Miller was convicted of killing 3 men in back-to-back workplace shootings in 1999. This was the second attempt to execute Miller, following a botched attempt at lethal injection in 2022. Holman Prison is the only facility in the state equipped with an execution chamber and where most of the state's death row inmates are housed. WVUA 23 and the Tuscaloosa County Sheriff's WVUA 23 and the Tuscaloosa County Sheriff's Office needs your help locating some of Tuscaloosa County's most wanted. Adam Burks, black male, 27 years of age, 6'6", 140 pounds, black hair, brown eyes, last known to be living in the area of Vance Blockton Road, West Blockton, wanted for identity theft. Tanya Christian, white female, 32 years of age, 5'5", 120 pounds, red hair, brown eyes, last known to be living in the area of Golden Acres Drive, Cottondale, wanted for chemical endangerment of a child. Michael Prude, black male, 30 years of age, 5'7", 122 pounds, black hair, brown eyes, last known to be living in the area of Mimosa Park Road, Tuscaloosa, wanted for trafficking opium. If you have any information on these or others wanted by the Tuscaloosa County Sheriff's Office, please contact them at 205-464-8672 or on their website at tcsoal.org. And New York Mayor Eric Adams has been indicted on 5 federal charges related to bribery, wire fraud, conspiracy, and soliciting campaign contributions from foreign nationals. The 57-page indictment outlines alleged illegal actions dating back to 2014 when he was the Brooklyn Borough president. These charges come after a months-long federal investigation into campaign fundraising violations and foreign influence. Adams has previously denied any wrongdoing. He reiterated that claim Thursday and said he would fight any charges. A new study shows the presidential race is close across 3 critical states, according to the latest polling from Marist College. Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are tied at 49% in North Carolina, in Arizona, and Georgia. There's no clear leader either. Trump is at 50%, while Harris is at 49%, a near-dead heat within each poll's margin of error. And the standard 30-year fixed mortgage rate hits its lowest level in 2 years. The average rate reached 6.08% this week. That's according to mortgage financing provider Freddie Mac. Mortgage rates have been steadily dropping since the spring. Application numbers indicate Americans are taking advantage of falling mortgage rates. According to the Mortgage Bankers Association, applications to refinance a mortgage soared 20% last week from the prior week.
And Hurricane Helene making landfall right this minute. More on your local forecast up next. Hear my forecast every day on 92.1 The Possum. And it starts off live this evening. This is the Algo traffic camera. You are looking at Interstate 10 corridor over Mobile Bay. And hey, the weather conditions just fine down there as Hurricane Helene remains well to the east of there. But there is a fairly breezy offshore wind gusting around 25 miles per hour across Mobile Bay. Let's go to our Brian Diddy camera here in Tuscaloosa. And we're looking off towards the north direction across UA campus. Going to be a busy weekend here on UA campus. A lot of folks going to be here at Brian Diddy. 70 degrees currently, wind out of the north at around 7 miles per hour. Put on top of the radar. Now you see a lot of green over central Alabama. Most of this is not precip, just ground clutter. Do have some sprinkles near Birmingham and some light rain over in East Alabama. By far, most of the rain remaining into Georgia. Here is Helene. You can see this on Doppler radar now. And again, for Panama City, the rain has ended, destined back towards Fort Walton and the Alabama Gulf Coast to Gulf Shores and Orange Beach there. No rain at all out there tonight, but again, the heavier rain now east of Panama City in this zone across the Big Bend region of Florida where the core of the eye is moving in now. In fact, it has officially made landfall. That happens when the center of the eye reaches the coast, and that has happened very close to Perry, Florida. And this is going to move northward into the Valdosta area in Georgia here for the next hour or two. A very fast-moving hurricane, Category 4 storm. Here's a look at the radar. See how fast it's moving northeastward now, and about to cross into southern Georgia. So the latest from Hurricane Center, winds 140 miles per hour. That is a very intense Category 4 storm. Again, has now made landfall. Pressure 938 millibars. Moves northward into Georgia overnight tonight. And again, hurricane warnings continue for a large chunk of central and south and west Georgia there where the hurricane force winds will be tonight. And again, by tomorrow morning, this storm is going to be in Tennessee. That's how fast it's going to sling across Georgia, and that will produce those powerful winds. Tropical storm warnings continue for the rest of Georgia and the far east Alabama Rove counties. Now, winds are not a big deal here. The winds are picking up quite a bit. Again, notice that 99-mile-per-hour wind there. I think that's close to that Perry area. That's very intense winds, and those winds will likely pick up once that eye wall moves over. Now, for West Alabama, it's going to be breezy tomorrow, but no major impact at all. Winds could gust around 30 miles per hour. There goes Helene up through Georgia. The rain staying to the east of central Alabama. As we go into the day tomorrow, some showers possible for the northern half of central Alabama, but by the time we go into the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, dry weather making that return. So again, our forecast on Friday, mostly cloudy, temperatures holding in the 70s all day. High school football tomorrow night, most of the rain for North Alabama. And again, this will be light rain, temperatures in the 70s. Alabama taking on Georgia at Brian Denny. What a nice looking game day. We got a 6:30 p.m. kickoff, 76 degrees with a mostly cloudy sky. The weekend going to be dry across central Alabama. Next week gets a little bit warmer as we return back in the mid-80s. So again, Laura, after this hurricane gets out of Georgia and into Tennessee, our friends over in Georgia and Florida are going to be certainly cleaning up the mess. And I imagine power outages could last for several days for a lot of people.
Yeah, and we were talking about how this is supposed to be one of the worst expected hurricanes right now. How does this compare to past hurricanes we've covered?
This storm is similar to what hit Alabama in 2004, Hurricane Ivan. This is a very similar storm in terms of the size of that. Fortunately, that is not happening here, but of course, our friends in Georgia and Florida are dealing with that devastating storm.
All right, well, Gary Harris is in for sports.
Hey, Laura, coming up, Alabama is wrapping up preparations for the big Georgia game on Saturday night. Plus, we've got some Thursday night high school football for you. And Alabama men's basketball is poised for another stellar season. The Tide is practicing. We've got the latest coming up next in WVUA 23 Sports. And welcome back to the News at 10. I'm Gary Harris. Alabama football held its final practice of game week this morning, so now it's all about getting mentally prepared to play the big game. Now, this Alabama-Georgia matchup, like many of these kind of games between really good football teams, is going to more than likely be decided by who wins the line of scrimmage. The Alabama defensive line will be pitted against a big and physical Georgia offensive line. Alabama D-line coach Freddie Roach says the Bulldogs are terrific, but the focus for his guys is just on being the best version of themselves.
Very big, very strong at the point of contact, very athletic, really good. Kirby's done a phenomenal job of that program, and obviously won a bunch of games. So, you know, we got to go out and do our job, you know, and obviously that's a great opponent, but we got to make it about us.
Well, Football Friday comes your way tomorrow night at 10:30. Our game of the week is a bragging rights special, Gordo at Pickens County. WVUA 23's J.D. Zaza has a preview.
The 8 Mile War rivalry between the Gordo Green Wave and the Pickens County Tornadoes turns 100 tomorrow night, and emotions are running high on both sides.
It means everything. Gordo is one of those games that you really dislike the other team. Like, there's very few games where you go in and you just honestly just dislike them. Gordo is one of those teams.
I want to win it for these kids who grew up here. You know, their cousins are on those teams. Our rosters look very similar. You see a lot of the same names on the roster. So I want to coach harder for my kids, and I want to win for those guys.
Currently, the Green Wave are on a 10-game winning streak, which is the longest in the century-long rivalry. The last time Pickens County won the 8 Mile War was in 2013. Later that season, the Tornadoes won their first and only state championship. For the Tornadoes to end the streak, Coach Williams leans on a motivated senior class.
Sunday, watching film, first thing that came out of our senior Jaquarius Cole's mouth was, I haven't beat him in my 4 years. So he understands the magnitude of this game, and once he understands it, the whole team will understand it.
Emotion doesn't win ball games, execution does. So we just go out there and execute and do what we do, and it doesn't matter how hungry anybody is except for the 22 guys that are on the field at the time.
Pickens County is currently 2-3 this season, but Coach Williams states that one spark can turn the season right around. What a spark it would be if the Tornadoes can upset the Green Wave and end the decade-long winning streak. Reporting from Pickens County High School, I'm J.D. Zaza, WVUA 23 Sports.
Thank you, J.D. Thursday night high school football tonight. Fayette County hosting Winfield in a non-region matchup. All defense in the first quarter, but 9 minutes left in the second. Winfield is going to score on a deep pass from Brady May to wide open Garrett Beasley. Now, we're going to have a little dispute here on the two-point conversion. Fayette County argued that this was not a legal play, that snap was not legal, but it was ruled to be okay, 8-0. But right before the half, Fayette says, you know what, we can run a little trickery here. They'll hook and ladder right there. Jacob Rickman to Keyshawn Hughes to Orlando Lawson Jr. That is a touchdown right down the right sideline into your living room. Fayette County went for the two-point conversion but did not get it. And Winfield is going to go on and get the win tonight as they take care of business big time at Fayette County, 35-6. The Alabama men's basketball team opened practice this week, and today they scrimmaged and the media was allowed to attend. The men's team is looking to capitalize off that March Madness run all the way to the Final Four. The AP Top 25 preseason rankings haven't come out yet, but Alabama is going to be in the top 5, probably the top 3. Who knows, maybe even number 1 or number 2. The men have added 8 new players via both recruiting and the transfer portal. The most notable of the new additions is Clifford Amore, the big center. And according to head coach Nate Oates, this team has several guys that can flat out shoot it from deep.
Like Aiden's shooting the ball at a ridiculously high level. He doesn't miss hardly anything when he's open. He's starting to make the right reads, and we've been working with him on, making great reads in the pick and roll as a point guard, making driving reads as well as he shoots it. Guys have to crowd him. Then he gets in the paint. He's making those reads better. So with, Mark and Latrell and Aiden, we got 3 of the best shooters in the country, in my opinion.
Coach Oates also said, though, Laura, that Chris Youngblood, the transfer from South Florida that was a projected starter, has had ankle surgery. He's going to miss most of the non-conference portion of the schedule. Soccer tonight, Alabama and Mizzou 1-1 tie. And in the NFL, the Cowboys beat the Giants 20-15. That's a busy night of sports.
All right, well, stick around. We'll be right back. And heat up the griddle. It's National Pancake Day, also known as flapjacks, johnny cakes, griddle cakes, or hot cakes. Pancakes are a traditional breakfast favorite dating back more than 30,000 years. In fact, pancakes may be the oldest breakfast food in history. They're made with mixed batter, and the topping options are endless: butter, syrup, fruit, whipped cream, honey, or nuts. How do you like pancakes?
I love pancakes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, put a little honey on there, some blueberries.
Like strawberries, whipped cream, or syrup.
There you go.
However,
delicious.
they're all good.
All right, well, last look at sports.
Yeah, we'll get ready for Big Football Friday tomorrow night, and I think Richard's going to tell us the weather's pretty good
a few
for
showers
it.
still possible for some of those local games, but for college football happening Saturday, we're looking great. Here's that forecast for Friday. We'll be in the 70s all day.
And that's our report. Good night.
We'll see you.